Yes, do.
How gay is the film?
So gay.
Super gay!
What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and do you all remember how movies used to be marketed back in the good old days? You could go to McDonald's or Burger King, and it was a for sure thing that your kid's meal would come with a toy from whatever movie was popular at the time. You would go to the grocery store, and drinks and snacks would be themed behind whatever movie was popular at the time. You would go to certain stores and there would be these massive cardboard cutouts. There would be ad campaigns, and you would get about one, maybe two trailers from the movie that never spoiled the movie for you, but just gave you an idea of how awesome this movie was going to be. And it was a shared experience because we didn't have 1,000 streaming services. People weren't divided as much back then. When a big movie came out, you knew that when you showed up to school or work the next day, everyone would be talking about it. But unfortunately, things change. Nowadays, it seems like no one really cares about marketing movies. And you get unlimited trailers to the point where by the time you go see the movie, you've already seen everything in the 17 trailers that they've released online. But one of the best people at marketing movies back in the day was Disney. There was no escaping a new Disney product back in the day. Everywhere you looked, the next Disney movie would be advertised, regardless if it was Pocahontas, Hunchback of Notre Dame, you name it. You were surrounded by this marketing campaign. And back then, that was part of the best experience of a movie for me. There's so many movies that I look back on nowadays and I realize, you know what, maybe that movie wasn't the greatest movie ever, but this experience surrounding that movie was truly magical. One that just comes off the top of my head was Shrek. I remember Shrek had a massive marketing campaign behind it. And I remember going to Baskin Robbins and they had this mud ice cream with these gummy worms inside, and it made you feel like you were Shrek because Shrek likes eating mud and dirt and worms, and it was just such a cool experience to be a kid back then. Unfortunately, Disney has now taken up a new strategy when marketing movies, though, at least for the past two films that they released. Recently, they released a Buzz Lightyear film. During the marketing campaign for a Buzz Lightyear film, they never told you anything that would make you want to go see the movie. They never showed you anything that was truly exciting. You went to the store, you didn't see any Buzz Lightyear stuff around you. They marketed the movie on the sole fact that there was a lesbian kiss scene in the movie. And I guess they felt that that would put butts in seats. That all they had to do was tell the world, hey, two girls kiss in our movie. There's some gay stuff in our movie. Everyone's going to come see it. Unfortunately, that's not what parents want. Parents aren't going to get up and take their kids to a movie just because you tell them, hey, there's women kissing in this one. In fact, there's a lot of parents out there that don't even want their kids to have to be introduced to all of that stuff. And even if it's in a movie, we get gay people exist and that's fine, but you don't want to go see a movie that's basically just marketing itself off of this one point. What is it a good movie or not? Like it's not like they even cared to tell us anything else about the movie. Now, the latest movie that Marvel just released was Thor: Love and Thunder, which was a complete joke. You can go look at my review. One of Marvel's worst movies yet. But the way they marketed this movie was by saying, hey, this is Marvel's gayest movie yet. That's not me exaggerating. That's not me here, over sensationalizing this story. That is literally what Marvel Studios and Disney said. They marketed this movie by saying it is the gayest Marvel movie yet. Now, I went to go see the movie and I agree. It is the gayest Marvel movie yet. You have a character in there, Valkyrie, who is a king instead of a queen, even though she's a woman. And her character exists for the sole purpose of having one scene where she kisses a woman's hand, and so characters on screen can refer to her as a king, and that's bending the gender rules. So this character does nothing cool in the movie. It only exists so characters can be like, hey, King Valkyrie. And people could be like, oh, she's a woman and she's king. Oh, whoa. Now, I actually like Valkyrie in the comics. I didn't mind Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok, but here, she existed for nothing. And then we have Korg, a giant rock man. For some reason, they wrote it in the storyline that all rock men are gay. So you have a giant gay talking rock in Thor Love and Thunder. Now, it's not necessarily a big deal. Some people could ask why it's there. I mean, I felt like it wasn't needed, but if that's what you have to do to make yourselves feel better about yourself, then fine. But you see, marketing this movie as the gayest Marvel movie yet, it winded up backfiring on Marvel. Because not only are people who don't really want to get that agenda stuff down their throat not going to this movie, but the gay community seems to be in an uproar. Why? Because Thor and Love and Thunder was not gay enough for them. Now, those are their words, not mine. And now they are attacking the director, Taika Waititi, calling him a phobe because he did not make the movie gay enough. You see, there's a large portion of people that show up to these movies they pretend like they like Marvel and stuff like that, all because they want an agenda pushed within these movies and comics. These aren't people who really buy the comic books. These aren't people who buy the products. Hell, these aren't even people who really go buy movie tickets. A lot of them haven't left their house in 2 years. And, they don't touch grass enough. So Marvel and Disney, it's like they're catering to this audience of people who don't even buy their products anyway. And these people are now turning on them because this woke crowd, they're always going to eat their own eventually. Eventually, you're not going to be woke enough. And unfortunately for Disney, they released a superhero movie that shouldn't have anything gay in it in the first place, and it wasn't gay enough for this crowd. And now the director is under attack, and I love to see it. I was sitting on Twitter all day just going through comments, watching these people relentlessly attack Disney and attack Taika Waititi for not adding enough gay scenes in this movie. And you know what? I find that weird because never do I go to a movie and I'm like, there's not enough straight scenes in this movie. There's not enough men and women kissing in this movie. I go to a Marvel movie because I'm a Marvel fan. I've collected the comics my whole life. I've bought the products my whole life. I go to see the characters I know and love portrayed on the big screen. But instead, I'm constantly getting political and social messages stuffed down my throat. And no matter how much they stuff in these movies, it's never good enough for the people that they are trying to appease. People who I would argue aren't fans of this product in the first place. Because if you go to a Marvel movie and your complaint is that it's not gay enough, then right there off the bat, you do not have any real interest in this franchise other than just trying to make it all gay. I mean, for lack of better words. Because I've read Thor my whole life. I know these characters. There was never really anything gay put in the comics. I mean, let me take that back. Over the last decade or so, it's been nothing but, LGBTQ plus agenda shoved in every single comic book. But the real people who made these comics, not the activists who draw and write comics nowadays, but the real artists and the real creators of these characters, they never intended these characters to be this way. Now, if you want more representation, I don't see anything wrong with that. Everyone should be able to see themselves represented somewhere. But create new and original characters. Create something that you can love and admire as much as we used to love and admire Marvel before it was taken over by activists and totally burned to the ground. But like I said, no matter how gay they make these movies, it will never be good enough. Let's just go ahead and take a look at a couple of these tweets. Christopher Nolan has done more for queer cinema than Taika Waititi. Okay, I mean, has he really? I don't know. But what are you trying to imply here? I'm sorry that this movie that had a lot of gay references in it wasn't what you wanted it to be. I know you wanted Thor to whip it out and you wanted another man to kiss the tip right in the middle of this movie that's supposedly for kids, but hey. And that's what's weird, because when you ever criticize a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie nowadays, they always try to revert back to the argument that it's for kids, it's not for you. And then they'll argue, we need more gay sex scenes in this movie. Wait, what? So when I criticize the movie, it's, oh, you're an adult. You shouldn't say anything about this movie. It's for kids. Now, mind you, these movies aren't made for kids at all. But they're like, oh, this is a superhero movie. This is Star Wars. This is for kids. All of your totally valid criticism should be thrown out the window because you're not a child. And then these grown men, women, and them days will come on here and be like, there's not enough gay sex in this kids movie. So which one is it going to be? It's kind of odd. One person shared a picture of a Trojan horse that has some soldiers inside that says gay. The Trojan horse, it says it is a new Taika Waititi project, and there's big corporations leading this project into these walls. I like Taika Waititi, I really do. But you guys have to move on from this. Ragnarok famously had the only crumb of gay shit cut from it. Tessa Thompson just did an interview saying she doesn't get a girlfriend in Love and Thunder, despite the announcement of the movie advertising otherwise. So these people are upset that they didn't double down and give Tessa Thompson a girlfriend in this movie. Why was that needed? If it makes or breaks a movie for you that there's not gay stuff in the movie, then you're obviously not a fan of the characters. Mind you, these characters were never gay in the first place. None of these Marvel characters were ever gay in the first place. All of this gay stuff has only been added the last couple of years when these activists took control of Marvel. So that shows you right here, these aren't real fans. They only want to come here to just say, hey, look, it's two superheroes and they're kind of gay. Yeah. It's like, what? Is that all you care about? Why do you care so much about sexuality? You know, I wouldn't mind if they take more straight love interest out of superhero movies. I don't need to always see my superheroes in love with this woman and having to save this woman. I don't necessarily always need to see that. But it's there and I don't mind it. But at the same time, I'm not sitting here bashing a movie because my sexuality isn't portrayed enough in the movie. And I don't understand why people are so fragile like that. Taika Waititi is now calling himself a gay icon. Taika Waititi is now calling himself a gay icon. Please send the flood and or the rapture. All the white gays enabling him. What? So this person just called for a mass genocide of white gay people because Taika Waititi has been labeled a gay icon. Mind you, nobody straight that I know of has labeled Taika Waititi a gay icon. I didn't even know he was labeled that. But I guess the gay community has labeled him that. And now they're calling for all white gay people to be drowned or killed in the rapture. It's so funny when you see this community that they want you to believe that this community is all full of the most loving and accepting people, and they're all victims and everyone hates them because everyone else is bad, and they're marginalized and they're discriminated against and they're this and they're victims. In reality, this community has some of the most hateful people I have ever seen in my life. When you go online and you see some of the most toxic shit getting thrown around, it's coming from these type of people. And it blows my mind that people who claim they're victims of everything, who claims the world is out to get them, they're the ones who are the ugliest to everyone online. You're literally calling for the mass death of all white gay people. You yourself are someone who's supposedly gay, mad that there's not enough gay stuff in Thor Love and Thunder, so you call for the death of all other gay people who aren't your race. Is that not insane? How come stuff like this isn't put in check? I get called out for calling this stuff out, yet this is allowed. I want you all to understand, if I put something like this on my Twitter profile, boom, I'm off of Twitter really quickly. But if you're gay and you put your pronouns in your bio, you could call for the mass death of other gay people whenever you want. So we have the LGBTQ community wanting to kill a large portion of the LGBTQ community, all because there wasn't enough gay stuff put in a superhero movie that shouldn't have been gay in the first place. That's why I tell everyone, you give someone an inch, they're going to take a mile. It will not stop here. It's going to be totally balls to the wall insane within the next few years if we continue on the same trajectory. Let's go to the next one. Media conglomerates have realized that to have a queer story, you don't need to have queer people in it. It just needs 80s pop music and Taika Waititi lurking somewhere. Now, this is one that I actually found kind of funny. Like, yeah, you don't have to put gay people in a movie to have queer representation. You could just play certain music and have Taika Waititi direct it. I get the joke. But the fact is, 2 of the main characters in Thor Love and Thunder are gay. You have Valkyrie, who is gay. I mean, and like I was saying earlier, she only existed for one scene. Like, the only reason she was in this movie so they could show her, like, kiss a woman on the hand, and so she could be referred to as a king. I mean, they beat you over the head with it to the point that she was wearing around a king's jersey in the movie. And it's like, she does nothing, but people keep coming up to her. What do you think, king? Oh, King of Valkyries, this. Oh, hey, king. Oh, king? It's just like she existed just so, hey, remember that one time Tessa Thompson was a king in the movie? I hope all of y'all love it. I hope all of you weirdos on Twitter all stan her for the rest of your lives and draw pictures of her online. She existed for no reason. But regardless of that, Thor Love and Thunder has really 4 main characters. So there's 4 characters on this journey in the movie. You have Thor. You have a female Thor that was created to appease this same crowd. A female Thor that struggles to sell comic books that should not exist in the first place. But she was created to appease this very crowd. And they put her in this movie to appease this very crowd, but that wasn't good enough. So you have female Thor, you have Thor, you have King Valkyrie, who is a woman, and then you have Korg, a giant gay rock man. But they're saying, oh, there's not enough queer characters in this movie. Never mind the fact that this movie only has, 4 or 5 main characters. Besides, all right, there's 4 main characters who are good, and then there's the main villain, and 2 of them are gay. What more do you want? That's 50-50 representation, and I mean, let's be honest about the statistics. This community does not make up that much of our society. It's over-representation to a certain extent. When you look around and every single character in Thor is gay and there's nobody straight, and it's like, well, that doesn't match up with how society really is. But never mind that. Having 2 of the main characters in this movie was not good enough, and they view it as non-existent. Why? Because for them, in order for it to be legit, in order for it to matter, they have to have gay, hot, steamy sex right there in the middle of the movie. It's not enough for the character to be gay. It's not enough to show you this character in a relationship with another person who's the same sex. That's not enough. No. They need them to have sex right there on screen in the middle of the superhero movie for them to feel validated, for them to feel like they are, I mean, I don't even know what they're seeking from this. But if this is what you need in life to make you feel better, then seek therapy. If you need superheroes to have gay sex on a movie that's supposedly made for kids, then you might need to be behind bars. Honestly. Let's go to the next one. Honestly, fuck Taika Waititi. I'm so sick of transphobia being used for laughs. This one really took me out because I'm like, what? Nowhere in this movie was there anything phobic. In fact, like I said, this was the most... They had more sexual jokes and innuendos in this movie than in any other Marvel movie. And there was more gay stuff throughout this movie than any other Marvel movie. There was nothing phobic about it. But for some reason, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Oh, that's transphobia used for laughs. What? How? It literally makes no sense, but anything and everything will be called that from now on. Oh, Thor doesn't have sex with, one of his homeboys in the butt. You're a phobe. That's where we're getting to in today's society. That a person, a director who went out of his way, because none of this stuff works for the storyline at all, went out of his way, hey, we got to put all this gay stuff in this movie. And then he gets attacked for it not being gay enough. And now they're saying he's a phobe. Not only did he not make the movie gay enough, but he must hate all gay and trans people because he didn't. And now they're literally trying to cancel him and make sure that he doesn't direct the next Thor movie. So you know what? It all came back to bite him on the ass. And it always will. The woke will always eat their own. Let me know your thought about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and as always, find some time out of your day to go watch a movie.